Tom Brady has agreed, except for the Polo Grounds. That was a messed up looking stadium. Anyway, it's like 550
They played
feet.
polo there?
I think that's what it originally was made for. Oh. The stadium was called the Polo Grounds, and I think the straightaway center field was like 550 yards or 50 feet or something like that. Something ridiculous. I'll have to look it up.
People. Oh, I've got it now. My computer's back. Actual smart business people saying they will use him as an ambassador. They'll bring their like high volume advertisers by the box to meet Tom Brady. Sometimes when they're trying to get advertising dollars, they'll have somebody go play a round of golf with Tom, and they're going to use this relationship, not just him as an analyst, but him as an ambassador of Fox Sports to bring in all kinds of advertising dollars, and it probably will be worth it. But it's crazy to think, as we were just looking at guys like Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, breaking the mold on what analysts and commentators can make. Brady just came in and got a deal that's like twice as much as... So this is bonkers money for the white whale, Tom Brady.
Aikman just has to be so mad.
Reports surfaced last week that a soccer player named Marcelo was dropped from his French professional team last year for repeatedly farting and laughing in the locker room. Daniel, if that were a rule everywhere, how many places would you have been kicked out of?
My apartment, first of all. Also, I'm not sure if we would have had a football team that I played on, because everybody would have been kicked out of that thing. This is the most hilarious thing, too. I love how it's not just repeatedly farting, but repeatedly farting and laughing.
This guy was a professional European soccer player.
And just cut, because he had the sense of humor of a 12-year-old.
Yeah, he had the toots, man.
But not only just the toots. I feel like the laughing was the big...
The toots and giggles.
The laughing showed malicious intent.
Malice and forethought.
Yes. Former Hooper Shaquille O'Neal and current Utah Jazz big man Rudy Gobert have a beef. As an analyst on TNT, Shaq said that he could have scored 12 points on Gobert in 3 minutes. Oh yeah, easy. Gobert responded on social media with, "I would lock his bleep up." Justin, could 3-time Defensive Player of the Year Gobert lock up prime Shaq?
With all due respect to the Frenchman, Rudy Gobert, heck no!
Not a chance.
Real big men with real big, strong frames that played in a brutal physical game in the 90s and 2000s couldn't lock down Shaq.
Nope.
When he was in college, people resorted so much to just smashing the crap out of him all game, every game, that his college coach said, "You need to go to the NBA early, because if people are going to treat you like this physically," and Shaq was fine, but if people are going to beat you up like this, you might as well go get paid for it. Then he went to the NBA, and have you ever heard of Hack-a-Shaq?
Yep.
That's because nobody could physically match up with him.
Yep.
Rudy Gobert, even as a great defensive player who impacts the team defense, has never been a great on-ball defender of bigs. I'm pretty sure last year at some point he gave up 50 points to Embiid and then 50 points to Jokic in like back-to-back games. He's a rim protector who gets a lot of blocks, and he's great in the team concept, but one-on-one with Shaq, I think Shaq could score 12 points in 45 seconds. He'd do it in one possession.
Yeah, no chance.
Dude.
That's ridiculous.
Rudy.
Stop.
Rudy.
French people, man. So, Tom Brady and making all that money, again, just brings up my point that I will continue to make constantly. Hey, star quarterbacks, stop getting as much money as you possibly can every time you have a contract come up. Stop being an idiot. Seriously. You think that you're going to make as much money when you're done as Tom Brady, who's the greatest of all time? No. It's ridiculous.
Stupid quarterbacks.
Stupid quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks are the dumbest guys on the field.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to money and always saying that they want to win, and then won't do literally the only thing that the best winner of all time has done. Okay.
Cheat.
Do you think if you ask people, like regular sports fans,
Yes.
what is the like, obviously you could do percentages of what made Tom Brady the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
How many of them do you think would say, he was the most talented, he was the smartest, he got placed in the best system, and how many of them do you think would say he was smart enough to take a little bit less money so that the team around him built could be better?
I would say about 5% would say the last.
He
I would
was
say
smart enough to make money under the table and marry a rich wife.
Well, we've seen other quarterbacks with rich wives, Andrew.
But they weren't smart enough to take money under the table.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Russell Wilson's new puppy?
I unfollowed Russell Wilson
Do you
on
follow
Instagram
Sierra still?
today.
Because it was on Sierra's Instagram.
I don't follow
They
Sierra.
got a new puppy. You know what he named it?
No.
Bronco.
Dear Lord.
It's so cute, though.
I cringe. I was getting so many
victory.
That would have been a good solid one. I've gotten so many little like updates about Russell Wilson lately that finally I just had to unfollow. Because I couldn't do it. Because I put up with how cringy he is when he was my quarterback.
Right. And as somebody else's quarterback, it's just way too much.
It's way too much. You're like, dear Lord, shut up.
He's still the quarterback of my heart.
Yeah. Nope.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Give me Caleb Elby. Give me Levi Lewis. Give me another long shot story. If Drew Lock's the starting quarterback this year, I'm going to be sad. I want one of the long shots.
Since we're here, do you want the poll results from last week? Because they were Seahawks quarterback related.
Yeah.
Okay, so I only posted a couple of polls. One of them was, who will be the Seahawks Week 1 starting quarterback?
Ooh.
I gave four options: Geno Smith, Drew Lock, Baker Mayfield, and other.
Okay.
What do you think, Daniel?
I sadly I think it's gonna be Drew Lock, but I am praying for other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew?
I think it's gonna be Drew Lock.
Okay, so I have been hearing a lot of Geno Smith this week.
Barf.
Including from Richard Sherman on his podcast.
You know how I feel about that.
So
I'm not gonna say it on the air though.
59% of our audience said Drew Lock will be the Seahawks starting quarterback Week 1. Second question: who should?
Percentage?
59.
59.
Of four options, Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield each got 16%. Other got 9%.
Okay.
The next question: who should be the Seahawks Week 1 starting quarterback?
Okay.
Same options: Geno Smith, Drew Lock, Baker Mayfield, other.
Other.
I'm still going other.
You both think it should be other.
Yeah, it should absolutely be Gardner Minshew.
Yep.
Other got 13% of the vote. Drew Lock got 74%.
What?
So even more than will is should.
What?
Because some people who voted for Geno Smith under the will be the Seahawks starting quarterback apparently don't think he should. Because he went from getting 16% of the vote to getting 3% of the vote. Seattle wants Drew Lock.
That's dumb.
The fans want Drew Lock.
The fans are dumb.
Well, I want Geno Smith.
Well, yeah, because at least Drew Lock is young, and you could make the argument of like development and still a young guy. But Geno Smith's like old. Like, what's the upside there? There's zero upside. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Was that it? You didn't have any
just
more.
about to break out last year, Daniel, before Russell Wilson came back.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had one good game against the Jaguars.
I was going to post more polls, but I got really wrapped up in a Twitter beef with another podcast.
I was going to say.
But we'll get to that later.
Did you? I was surprised that there weren't any polls about like me competing against Haley Van Lith and things.
Not this week.
I was a little surprised. But now, is
it time for Justin's favorite part of the show?
I think show.
Serving questions up on a silver platter where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump Daniel.
Let's get it.
Stump Daniel is brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz, no relation.
Liar!
As get us fact checked.
Going right into it. There's a lot of Damashevitzes out there. We're not all related.
Is there really?
There's a Mishevitz on the seat.
That's a Mishevitz.
There are a
few. I know, but I realized I didn't know how to say his name until I realized that it was the exact same as Damashevitz. I was like, oh, whoa. Now I know what it feels like for people to read Damashevitz for the first time.
There are a few other Damashevitzes that I don't know what the relation is to my family in the country.
Interesting.
In the entire country.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Shohei Ohtani. As of yesterday, Shohei Ohtani is the second player in MLB history with at least 100 home runs as a batter and 250 strikeouts as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Here's the easy part, Daniel. Who's the only other player in MLB history with at least 100 home runs and 250 strikeouts?
Babe Ruth.
Shocking that you knew that, considering everyone everywhere is comparing Shohei Ohtani to Babe Ruth.
It was signed by some lady, Baby Ruth.
The Great Bambino!
The Sultan of SWAT. The Colossus of Clout.
Colossus of Clout! Shohei Ohtani also became the third Japanese-born player to hit the 100 home run mark. Who are the other two players born in Japan that have hit 100 Major League Baseball home runs?
Hideki Matsui. Bing. And it's got to be Ichiro, right? Ichiro.
That is correct.
That would have been.
You were trying to think if he hit 100 home runs or not.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
did.
Like,
Yeah, he played long enough that you're like, it had to have gotten there eventually.
at 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so in the baseball portion of Stump Daniel, you went 3 for 3. Very good.
Bang.
We are moving on to the basketball portion.
Ooh, not good.
There's portions.
Going into today's game, Giannis Antetokounmpo is already one of just 4 players in NBA history with at least 200 points, 80 rebounds, and 40 assists in a playoff series. 200 points, 80 rebounds, 40 assists in a playoff series. Who are the 3 other players who have accomplished that feat?
Can you say those numbers one more time because they're just that ridiculous?
Yeah, in a playoff series. And he does this with a game to spare. 200 points, 80 rebounds, and 40 assists.
And there's 3 others?
Yes.
Karl Malone?
Ooh, I'm sorry, that is incorrect. That was a good guess, except I don't know that Karl Malone would have had the assist numbers to get that.
That's the thing I'm sticking on is the assist numbers, especially now that you mention it. I was going to get him name a bunch of big dudes. LeBron James?
LeBron James is correct. He did it in 2015. You got one more guess to get one of the 2 guys. These are both pretty old school guys, but you'll know both of them.
Okay, then I'm going to go Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Ooh, good try, but no.
Oh, on either of them?
No, not either of them.
Oscar Robertson?
Oscar Robertson is one of them.
I'm going to take that as a win.
But you already used all your guesses,
Dang
so... The other one's Elgin Baylor. In 1961, Oscar Robertson in 1963, and
Really old school.
LeJean Brames in 2015.
Who?
LeJean Brames.
Oh, gotcha.
Or as my daughter called him when she was little, she called him John Brains.
John Brains. I remember when she called him that.
Yes. So that's it, Daniel. You ended 4 out of 6, which is respectable.
So?
You swept the baseball category.
Yes.
I will say you're in the Coug zone.
Okay.
Not quite to the Beeve zone.
I'll take it.
But Coug zone, you're there.
I'll take it. That's where the Seahawks should be. Send that 6th rounder over to wherever Gardner Minshew is.
The next thing on the show sheet says M's update.
Yeah, we suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, we suck again.
Oh, no. I will say they just did win a series at New York against the Mets. So that
First series that the Mets have lost this season.
yeah, so that should be noted. The struggles have definitely been there, and the roster struggles have definitely been there for this team. I mean,
Injuries have not helped. Though.
No, injuries have not helped. But when your starting lineup has a guy who's hitting 86,
Now.
86
Now.
after going 1 for 4, so he definitely raised his
Surely
average.
you mean 186.
No, I mean 86. 086.
Oh.
And then the next guy up, you start looking up because that's at the bottom of the order. So I'm just going to read from the bottom of the order upwards. 086. Then the next guy's hitting 182. He actually gets a little bit of a pass because he just came up recently. Then the next guy, been up all season, hitting 163. Then the next guy who pinch hit to be the DH is hitting 203. The guy he pinch hit for is hitting 125. Your next player is a stud. He's actually up to 264 now because he went
Julio?
4 for 4. Julio is up to 264 now. So he's on a hot streak.
Ken Griffey Jr.
He's trending the right way. Jesse Winker also trending the right way is up to 224 now. JP Crawford hitting, I almost said Jamal Crawford. Also a stud athlete. He's hitting 322. The top of the lineup is okay. Because between Julio and Winker, who are on the rise, and then Crawford, France at 331, and Frazier at 259, that's respectable. But the bottom of your order is
But a leadoff guy at 259.
It's not terrible.
It's just the way baseball has changed, and I'm not quite used to it yet.
Yeah.
I
hear you.
Can I make an observation about that lineup?
Yeah.
Collectively, as a group, that's real bad.
It's real bad. That's a great observation.
And Kelnick's not in that lineup.
No. Kelnick's not in that lineup. He's down, hopefully getting better and stronger is what everybody says. I hope that he goes down and gets stronger. I hope that somebody thumps him on the head and says, stop changing stuff.
Did I see
Do exactly what you did last year and stop changing stuff.
That said he has the worst batting average in Major League history through 450 plate appearances?
Yep.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah, it's not good. But it's okay because Cal Raleigh's on the pace to beat him.
That's shocking to me. That's shocking to me that there's never been anybody who's been worse.
Well, you know why? Is because normally when you're that bad, you don't get that many plate appearances. You get sent back down. He's kind of a unique situation because also not many people have also been in such a weird progression through up to the major leagues with the COVID year where he was just in some weird camp for the whole season instead of playing a minor league season, and then the lockout shortened year where he couldn't get all of the off season that he normally would have got. So that it's really frustrating the stuff that he's gone through for development side of things,
flexing his muscle and flexing
and
his,
then the Mather part.
Yeah.
The Mather
he came up before he should have come up and was really bad.
Yeah.
Historically bad.
Yep. Exactly. And yet because of the Mather thing, there was information on his side that would say, oh yeah, they should bring him up earlier. So he had more public clout than I think a random person bringing up that comment would have had.
Agreed.
So anyway, that's your Mariners update. Robbie Ray struggled but did well enough for the win. According to the Mariners broadcast, he just had that one bad inning, Justin.
That's 5 runs.
Yeah.
His ERA is almost 5.
Drew Steckenrider almost blew it at the end, but shockingly, Diego Castillo came in and shut it down at the
Russian.
end. Yeah, he's been hot garbage this year so far too. With that outing, he's got an 8.74 ERA. He likes giving up dingers, preferably grand slams. But
he resisted today, though.
He did.
I was so proud of him.
Yeah,
I think right before the game he went to Denny's and got a grand slam.
Oh, maybe that's the
and
secret.
then went and let up a grand slam.
Are you sure he didn't get a barnyard burger?
No, he probably had a
lager burger.
A lager burger, a barnyard burger, and a grand slam.
There it is.
Yeah,
that's what he did. Speaking of eating a lot, Mike Ford. No, I'm just kidding. But have you guys seen Mike Ford play yet? Yeah, a little bit.
Because I did a little bit, but I did it subtly.
I just went out and said it. No, Mike Ford looks like your Babe Ruth coach. That's what he reminds me of. Whereas,
who was your Babe Ruth coach?
I said your Babe Ruth coach, not my Babe Ruth coach.
Who was your Babe Ruth coach?
He doesn't look like my Babe Ruth coaches. Now that I think about it, my dad was one of them. So I could kind of see that. But one of my Babe Ruth coaches was Todd Gwynn, who definitely was not built like that. And the other one was Rob Kerrigan, who was 6'4" and chiseled muscle and had a big scary scar over his forehead that scared other coaches.
So you're saying when I thought you had a picture in your head of one of your old Babe Ruth coaches and that, but you're saying just general Babe Ruth coach.
Yes, in general.
Okay.
He's kind of built like Dave Hinchin. Yeah, so he's a Babe Ruth coach. He's also a high school coach and a softball player. But yeah, that's kind of the build.
Okay.
Yeah, you're picturing it now.
I am.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to have said that?
You know what?
Daniel speaks for himself, not for any other members of the scrimmage.
Did you forget there was a microphone? Or
I did not. I kind of did, but I'm not playing softball this year, so Dave will have a year to cool off. If he finds out, and B, if he gets upset by that, which I don't think he will.
I think you're okay.
I think I am too.
I don't know though. Like 15 years ago, you say that to Dave Hinch, and you might get choked
Or elbowed in the head.
or elbowed in the head.
Not anymore.
This concludes the Dave Hinchin segment of our show. Which probably 95% of the people listening don't know who that is.
Yeah, true. His son Hunter got a big shout out to him though. He helped out my team that I was coaching. He was coaching the opposite team, and he was helping teach my third baseman how to play third, which was really nice. So I appreciate that.
So I had an interest. This is a quick aside.
Okay.
My wife is the manager of my daughter's coach pitch softball team.
Okay.
Has been for the last couple years. It's a very great atmosphere, lots of collaboration between coaches about, helping the kids put the ball in place so they can make plays and stuff like that. And there was a game recently where we're not really supposed to keep score. Well, I have to keep book because I have to know, always keep track of how many outs there are and how many runs have been scored in each inning, because there's a 5-run cap and then you switch.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm always keeping a book, but I also keep track of whether we win or lose.
There you go.
And there was a game
Attaboy.
that towards the end was really close, and we had the bases loaded, and there was a ball put in play, and the opposing team's catcher had the ball in her hands. She didn't know what to do.
Uh-oh.
All she needed to do was step on the plate. But, in those scenarios, everybody from the stands is yelling. Parents are yelling, go, go, run, run to their kids. And the other side's yelling, throw it to blah, 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 blah. And so it's really overwhelming for kids in that instance.
Extremely overwhelming.
Because it's coach pitch, and my wife was out there, she was right in front of this girl.
Uh-oh.
And she said, sweetie, just step on the plate. Which prevented a run from scoring.
So she did the right thing.
She did the right thing. Well, the quote-unquote right thing. I, in the moment, was like, well, that sucks. But I didn't say it out loud. I didn't say it out loud because I didn't want to look like a jerk.
Yeah.
My 12-year-old son had no such reservation. He was coaching first base at the time. Yes. And he was like, Mom, why'd you do that? We still won, so it was okay in the end.
I love that. My dad used to coach when my nephew was in T-ball, my dad would keep track of the runs and tell his kids they won after every game, but they won. And
I haven't been sharing that information with our team.
Yeah, my dad takes it to the next level. You remember, this is my dad who, when I was on in Hoquiam, we had Cal Ripken, not Little League, which is still frustrating to me to this day. But the age groups were 9 and 10-year-olds and 11 and 12-year-olds. There was no exception. You couldn't draft a 10-year-old to go play up, which I believe is what Little League does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were stuck. And so he told our 9 and 10-year-old team that we're playing baseball to have fun, and losing isn't fun.
I actually think that's a great motto. I did when I was coaching minors, which is that age group in Little League, and I was like, hey, there's only a few things that are really important to me, and it's not going to be the score at the end of the game. What's going to be important to me is that you guys have good attitudes, you play with good sportsmanship, and you hustle.
Yeah.
If you do those things, you give effort, you have a good attitude, then everything's going to be fine. I don't care what the score is at the end.
Yeah.
But with that said, I want you guys to have fun, and winning is fun. So let's just focus on putting our best foot forward and do the best you can.
Awesome.
So, you got to find a balance, I think, of those things.
I like it. That's a good addition. You don't want to be a jerk.
Winning is fun.
Winning is fun. And you don't want to be a jerk about it in youth sports. And we run into jerks sometime.
That's true. And actually, I feel like in my coaching experience, for me, sometimes the younger the kid, the more fun I had, because it didn't feel like it had to be as serious. And then when they get older, then the kids are more serious and the other coaches are more serious. And so it turns into a more competitive thing. And I just wanted to have a good time.
Exactly.
Because I'm basically a child,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
maturity wise. So
I'm looking at our show sheet.
yeah.
I see something that's next.
What do you mean?
It's beefy.
Yeah.
I'm a little curious as to what this beefiness is about.
We have a legit podcast beef.
Yes.
I'm just going to go ahead and call them out. Have you ever listened to the Cascadia Preps podcast?
No, I haven't.
So I don't listen to it every week.
But it sounds like I need to now.
It's like an inferior version of our podcast.
Okay.
They cover...
That sounds difficult.
They cover like some national headlines, regional sports, but they're, I'd say the bread and butter of it is that they cover prep sports from across the state.
Okay.
They know way more about all the schools that are off in the distance than we do.
I know about those schools.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't care about them.
You know what? You're right. They suck.
I know about Royal.
Screw you, Royal. So anyway, as I've listened a few times...
I know about Lakeside, 9 Mile Falls.
The memory that sticks with me the most about the Cascadia Preps podcast, and this is going back to the fall.
Okay.
Football season, Monty football, going to play a state playoff game across the state to a school I've never heard of.
Not even Deer Park.
No.
It was north of Deer Park.
Riverside. Right?
I think so. I don't know.
So, Riverside. I'm like, didn't know that was a school. Didn't know they were in our classification. Don't know anything about them. Barely knew where they were only because I looked it up.
Yep.
So I was like, I'm going to listen to the Cascadia Preps podcast and I'm going to get some information about this matchup. They spent at least a minute talking about every single other matchup and then didn't say anything about.
Was that because they didn't know about Riverside either?
I don't know. Or they hate Monty and they hate me.
That
I don't
seems
know.
most likely.
It seems prejudiced against Montesano. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who
they
can blame them?
They talked about every other one except for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But really, more recently, what I've been noticing is that every time I listen, they come out with some opinions on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays.
That are really similar to the opinions we have on Sundays.
Oh.
Most recently,
okay,
I was listening to their NFL draft breakdown. They're talking about the Seahawks draft. And I was like, oh, yeah, that thing that Ryland Spencer, the host, just said, that's exactly what I said on Sunday.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my gosh, Brandon Huffman just said the same thing that Daniel said on Sunday. Oh, my gosh, all of their opinions are our opinions.
Oh, snap. So you're saying that they just take our opinions?
I'm going to go a step further.
Oh.
I'm going to say that they take our opinions and they do it poorly.
Ooh. Those are strong words, sir.
Well, I just feel like...
Did you forget that there was a microphone in front of you?
I feel like they needed to be called out. So I'll say to our listeners, don't go to whatever podcast app you use and look up Cascadia Preps and download it and listen to it.
Shouldn't we tell them
How much
to...
are they paying you to say...
No, don't download Cascadia Preps.
But how would our listeners know that they were copying us unless they did that? Don't they need to go verify it, or should they just take our word for it?
I would say
instead of what Reading Rainbow always used to say, don't take my word for it. Wasn't that Reading Rainbow? I feel like that was Reading Rainbow.
Remember.
Anyway,
take a look.
It's in a book. Gosh dang it. I was gonna say we have to finish it. Like I'm like Andy from The Office at that point. Like you can't just leave that unresolved.
The Nard dog.
Yes, the Nard dog. Yeah, so you want just people to take our word for it.
Yeah, because don't waste your time.
Don't waste your time going and checking it out. Just know that they steal all their opinions from us.
Specifically
on the Seahawks?
Ryland Spencer.
Okay.
Like, do you know who this guy is?
No.
Okay, so
is he
Ryland,
kind of a big deal?
I just like...
Because I hear you're kind of a big deal.
Well, I mean, you know... I'm just sick of, like, whenever I try to talk to people about local high school sports, they're always like, oh, did you see that thing that Ryland said? Oh, did you see what Ryland did? Oh, Ryland tweeted about this. And I'm like, screw Ryland.
Yeah. Who's this guy, Ryland?
Ryland Spencer.
What kind of name is Ryland?
He thinks that just traveling around all over the state...
Wait, is it Ryland or Ryland?
Ryland.
Okay, gotcha.
Traveling around all over the state and, like, actually watching kids from all kinds of different schools and forming opinions on things, that makes him some kind of an expert.
Seriously.
He also...
Here's
another
a bunch
thing
of things just popped into my head that I can't say out loud, but I'll tell you after the show.
There's another thing that they stole from us.
Okay. Do they do the 2-minute drill?
No.
Oh.
This is Ryland specifically.
Stump Daniel?
No.
Oh. Athlete of the week?
Don't think so.
Dang it. What did they steal from us?
Well, we have been very public about our love for burgers.
Oh, yeah.
Ryland Spencer thinks he's such a burger connoisseur.
Oh, I bet
that
he hasn't had a lager burger.
Probably not. But he has his own Twitter account with a profane name, I might add.
Oh.
So I can't even say it on our microphone.
Oh, my goodness.
But Ryland Spencer just spewing all of his horrible burger takes all over the place. Making merchandise.
He's merchandise?
Yeah. Horrible burger takes, though. Except sometimes he tweets at PETA.
Oh, that's good.
It's pretty funny.
That's funny.
But besides that, he hasn't had a good take on a burger.
Not one good take? What's his top burger? Is he going with something generic like Five Guys?
Probably. He did have a lot of bad things to say about Miner's Burger.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Took way too long, wasn't worth the wait. The vegetable to meat ratio was terrible.
Wait, what does he want the vegetable to meat ratio to be?
More meat, less veggies.
Oh, okay. He got an odd burger from Miners then. Did
think-
he actually get the big Miners burger?
I think what
Or
he-
did he go and get some sissy smaller burger that would obviously have a less meat to veggie ratio?
I would guess by looking at the picture that he did two things. One, he got a sissy smaller burger.
Yeah.
Two, he said, hey, can you throw a bunch of extra vegetables on there so that I can whine about it on Twitter?
Seriously, because one thing that is not the case about the big Miners burger is there's not too little meat. The patty is like this big around. Has he eaten the big Miners burger?
Probably
You
not.
see, before I wasn't hot and bothered about this now, but now I am hot and bothered. The weight is one thing, but you know what you say? When you're at Miners Burger and you're not from Yakima, you know generally what that means? Is everybody else in the state is in Yakima. So they're all going to Miners Burger at the same time. So guess what? The wait is going to be ridiculous. I had the same thought as I was waiting for my food last time I was there during the state basketball tournament. But you know what happened once I got my food? I ate it.
What?
And then I was like, it's worth it.
Here's another burger
It's
take.
worth it. And it was like an hour and a half.
Here's a burger take that he has.
Okay.
He hates it when people cut burgers in half.
Who cuts burgers in half?
Some people.
You?
I did.
They're yucky?
I did yesterday.
Okay.
Here's my... I don't always cut burgers in half. Or on Friday I did. But sometimes when you have a burger that's really loaded up and it has like sauce gooping off the sides, if you cut it in half, it gives you more of a pointy end to eat.
I can
Especially
understand
for
it.
like a manly man with a real man beard.
No, I'm with Ryland on this. You should not cut your hamburgers.
Andrew, you're
That's
a producer,
horrible.
so ultimately you're going to be accountable
That's
for everything.
horrible.
Everything we're saying right now, you're going to be accountable
I'm not
for
accountable
it.
for anything.
Are you okay with everything we've done here?
No.
Okay, so first of all, I'm not opposed to other people. Why would you be upset if somebody else cut their burger
It's
in half?
burger abuse.
Why? Validate your argument, sir.
You're abusing the burger.
How?
I'm about to abuse it
cutting
with
it.
my teeth.
Well, you're
Is it
about to
abuse
bite
it with a
it.
knife?
Yeah, you should show it the proper respect by eating it correctly.
Okay, so my opinion is I don't care if somebody else cuts their burger because I'll admit that when I'm eating a burger that's hard to handle, I don't cut it. And I'm not going to take that time. I'm never going to start cutting it because I just don't got that time. Usually I don't even have a knife around. How did you have a knife around when you're eating a burger? That seems weird
I was
too.
at home.
Okay, also weird. Wait, did you make your own burger?
No, I went and picked it up from Jeans and took it home to eat
And
it.
then you brought it all the way. Well, you don't live too far away from Jeans,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
7 minutes.
I, on the other hand, I'll get into a big burger, and then, it's hard to even take a drink of something, because if it's a good burger, then it's a two-handed burger. And you don't have another hand to be, if you're sitting on the camera, if it's a good
You
burger.
guys, if you're listening to the podcast,
It's really messy.
you can't see Daniel really had two hands.
Yeah.
The burger that Daniel was pantomiming holding was about 10 inches across.
It's so good. The first gigantic burger I ever had was from a place called the Mount Adams Family Restaurant or Family Diner in Randall.
True. I feel like there's something in a dad's job description that you have to make your kids eat more food than they should sometimes.
Yeah.
I ran into this last week actually because my high school age son has been doing powerlifting.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get into a lower he was right at the low end of a weight class.
Okay.
And he really wanted to get down to the other weight class, but he's been doing so much weightlifting that he's putting on a lot of muscle. It's been hard.
Yeah.
So for 2 weeks, he basically like completely cut carbs out of his diet.
I'm okay with that.
And we had some talks over this because I was like, if you're gonna, I'm very nervous about cutting weight. My kids don't wrestle either, so
weight cutting is scary.
Yeah, so he knew, okay, there's some ways I'm gonna be allowed to do this,
Yeah.
and he did it. He got like half a pound under the weight that he wanted to, so he got down to 165.
Nice.
And then immediately after the powerlifting state meet,
Yeah.
they went to Chick-fil-A and he spent like $30 at Chick-fil-A and just hammered down a bunch of food.
Nice.
And then he's been eating so much ever since then. It's been like a week and a half. He's been eating so much. He told me that there was some team function. He had 10 scoops of pasta. And then he came home and we were having pizza for dinner. And I put 3 pieces of pizza on his plate.
Yeah.
And he ate 2 of them. And every time the line he gives me, every time I'm like, man, you ate a lot. It's bulk season, Dad. It's bulk season. So he's eating the
Isn't
pizza.
he about to run like the 400 in track at districts or something
It's
like
bulk
that?
season, Daniel.
Yeah,
So
but it's all about the football.
that
right.
is what it is.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So he eats 2 pieces of pizza and he's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to eat this third. And I said, thought it was bulk season. And he ate it. He did.
That's hilarious.
Looked real sick afterwards.
Any more terrible burger takes from Ryland?
I beg of you, Ryland, Spencer, and Brandon Huffman, you're kind of guilty by association, even though Ryland's really the main host of the show.
In this situation, you're Ryland and I'm, what's his name?
Brandon.
Brandon.
Yeah. Ryland, stop stealing our stuff. We like burgers. We discuss
We're very
sports.
unique in our burger liking.
Right.
We cover high school sports. Like, can't you find your own thing?
Seriously.
We've had this podcast way longer than you've had yours.
Have we?
Well, if you go, I don't know, actually.
If you go back...
If you go back to the original iteration, definitely, because there were very few podcasts back then.
That's true. We were a podcast before we knew we were supposed to just be a podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
we were trying to be on the radio
That's
and
true.
junk.
We were on the radio.
Yeah, that's true. We weren't
were-
trying to be. We were.
We were on the radio for almost that whole time because we were on that public radio station and then we were on KXRO for a little while
Yes.
on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah. And that put, like, immense pressure on us to do everything.
On you.
Yeah, on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
because if anything got messed up, it couldn't have been our fault. We didn't work there.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say with all the timing stuff we had to do, though. We had to have it, like, down to the millisecond of how long every episode lasted.
I think we're better live, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Remember how we would, like, redo our different segments, like,
You mean
over and over again?
how we would spend 4 hours recording a 30-minute podcast?
Yes.
Yes, I do remember that.
Brutal.
Poor Andrew with
Yeah.
all the post-production.
Seriously. What a mess.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what it's time for right now?
This
If
is one
we-
of the things that we've gotten way better at.
Is it?
Yeah, transitions.
You know, if we had a commercial about burgers, now would be when it comes. But we don't.
Suck it, Ryland. Commercial break. Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Damashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Damashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit damashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Were you just waving at your computer?
No, there was dust flying around. Dog hair or something flying around in front of it.
Thank you again to our sponsors, the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz and Oli Penn Real Estate. Jeffrey A. Damashevitz, the sponsor of our Stump Daniel segment, and Oli Penn Real Estate, the sponsor of our Oli Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week each. And none of you guys tried to when I was messaging you to try and watch to see if it was working. And so honestly, I don't know if any of it worked, but I know that I spent about a half hour talking about things and then 57 seconds of it posted on YouTube.
That was a good 57 seconds, though.
I'm pretty sure I didn't get out of the intro. I'm pretty sure I was still like introing the show.
So for those of you who missed out on our podcast last week, we apologize.
Yes.
It
Happy
was
Mother's Day.
It was Mother's Day. We knew we needed to do something different. I couldn't make my computer work the way a computer is supposed to work. And Daniel said, you know what? I'm going to save the day here, and I'm going to put out a live video that we can turn into a podcast.
Yep.
He executed it perfectly.
Debatable.
And then the technology betrayed us.
Yes.
So we apologize for not having a podcast last week.
Yeah. But as with last week,
As with last week?
that sentence doesn't make sense.
No. What were you trying to say?
I was trying to say the same person who won last week also is winning this week
Oh, okay.
for Athlete of the Week.
As with last week.
Does that make sense?
No.
Nope. Okay. Kyra Gardner is a stud.
Congratulations.
Do we have to say anything more? She's a certified bucket
Certified
getter.
bucket getter.
She's also a freak track athlete.
Yeah.
And she won all 4 of her events yet again.
Yeah. Just and actually in the recap I wrote Kyra Gardner did Kyra Gardner things.
Yeah. Do you even have to describe it more?
No.
I think we will later.
Yeah.
But Kyra Gardner did Kyra Gardner things. And I would say also, as per usual, snub of the week probably goes to Tiara Straka. Mm-hmm. But it's because she only does 2 events.
Well,
she dominates those 2 events, and so she will win, and she'll win more often when she goes to Oklahoma and when she goes to state, and she wins state, and all the, there's those things. But Kyra does 4 events, and I think that's easier for a runner. Is it biased? Is our segment biased? Because we're biased towards basketball players.
100%.
Are we also biased to people who do more events?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're allowed to do 4 events, and if you win 4 events, it's like the maximum you can do.
That's true.
I think since we mentioned Tiara Straka as a snub, Jane Roloff could be another snub.
Yes.
She won the 1600 and the 3200 in the league meet, and then also was part of a winning 4x4 relay team.
That's another snub. That's 3 wins.
Eric
Jacklin also won 2 events.
I'm fairly confident that Roloff never stops running. Like, no joke. Because I went to the track meet because my son was competing.
Yeah.
When we got there, we were walking outside the stadium down the sidewalk. She was running on the sidewalk. Apparently doing a warm up for her.
Do you think she runs home
3
afterwards?
miles.
She just wasn't late.
That's not so. The other thing is, as part of work, I drive through Hoquiam every day.
Yeah.
I swear, 3 times a week she's out running when I drive through Hoquiam. Like, I don't know that she ever stops running in her life.
Do you think she stops running enough to go to class, or is she just running laps around the classroom?
Picture her
Are
jogging
classes in person, or is she just
in person?
doing it,
Yeah,
on her phone? Like,
maybe she got an exception to do
it could be.
a distance learning.
I actually
and
picture
by
her
distance, I mean distance running learning, where she's just carrying her phone,
It's
running
very
around
possible,
Hoquiam.
but I also picture her just like jogging circles around all the desks in the classroom
makes
while
sense.
the teacher is teaching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yet not in a distracting way.
No, but for people, maybe she does it around the back and then stops and then goes around the back and forth.
Yeah.
For anybody who knows Jane Roloff, please let us know. Does she ever stop running? That'll be a Twitter poll. Does Jane Roloff ever stop running?
Anyway, she is also a snub. Definitely a big time snub there. Kyra Gardner won all 4 of her events yet again. So she is our Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week. We also got some great pictures. Justin, who took those pictures again? Because when you sent them, you said, I got some great pictures.
Oh, yeah. I didn't.
And then you sent them, and I was like, wow, those are awesome. Those are so cool. Courtney, my wife, look at how cool these pictures are that Justin got of Kyra. And then Justin goes, oh, yeah, this guy took those. And then Courtney was immediately like, well, I don't think they're good anymore.
But they are good, though.
They are really good. They're awesome pictures.
Larry Bale, he's from Raymond, and he takes pictures. He's like the best kind of photographer because he loves what he does. He goes out to all kinds of sporting events out in Pat County, and I've done some photography. Like, I coached his grandson in baseball at one point, so our paths crossed, and he puts up pictures, and he's just like, I always ask permission, like, hey, do you mind if I use this?
Yeah.
But every time the response is always the same. Hey, I post those pictures. They're for everyone. They're for everyone to share. So, like, people from Pacific County and people who had kids in that 2B meet had a ton of really good pictures that were taken by Larry Bale. So big shout out to Larry Bale there for that.
that is awesome.
That's really cool.
It's always super fun to have pictures as an athlete. It's super fun to have good pictures of yourself.
Absolutely. I still have, I've saved pictures from, almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a picture of me doing something. And every now and then I'll go back and look at it, and I'll be like, thank you, Brendan, for taking a picture of me snapping my ankle. That was really cool. Now I can gross out people.
You love that picture.
I do love that picture. It's weird how much I love that picture.
Who did you say you showed it to?
Look how bendy my bones are.
I showed it to the Seahawks old long snapper.
Oh, yeah. You showed it to Clint Gresham. You're like, I'm going to meet a former NFL player. Look at what happened to my leg. Feet aren't supposed to be that direction.
Also, it was worse because I asked him if he wanted to see it. He explicitly said no. He said, no, I don't want to see that.
And then you were like,
and then I'm like,
you're just a long snapper. I'm going to show you anyway.
Yep. Too dang bad, long snapper. And then I showed him. All right, it's time for our local sports roundup.
Kyra Gardner.
Yep.
Athlete of the week.
Montesano's girls dominated the Evergreen 1A sub-district meet at Jack Rottle Field in Montesano on Friday. The Lady Bulldogs, 254 points, easily topped second place Hoke Williams 104. Montesano's boys finished second with 94 points to Eatonville's 231.
Montesano's girls recorded victories in 10 of the 18 events. Lily Causey PR'd in both the 100 and the 200, picking up first place finishes in each race. Jaden Morrison won the 400 and Aubrey Anderson the 800. Jaden King won both the 100 and 300 meter hurdles. Elena Olson added 2 more individual wins in the long jump and triple jump. And the 4x100 team of Causey, Morrison, Sierra Birdsall, and Dakota Parks, and the 4x200 team of Causey, Birdsall, Morrison, and Olson rounded out Montesano's top finishes. That was a lot of wins.
Yes, it was.
Hoke Williams' duo of Jane Roloff, who never stops running, and Tiara Straka,
who never stops throwing,
combined for 4 wins. Straka took the shot put and discus, while Roloff won the 1600 and the 3200. Cameron Crone won the javelin for the Grizzlies, and the team of Roloff, Christina Goulet, Ariel Grant, and Reagan McElliott took first in the 4x4 relay.
Whew, that's a lot of stuff to get to there. Yeah. Montesano's boys' effort was highlighted by its distance runners. Eric Jacqueline took first in the 1600 and the 3200, and Jesse Anderson won the 800. Gabe Bodwell won the javelin for the Bulldogs, and the 4x400 relay team of Bodwell, Anderson, Mason Rasmussen, and Peyton Domashevitz.
No relation.
Sure. Edged Elma to punctuate the day in one of the meet's most exciting races. Why was it exciting, Justin?
I'll explain after we're done.
Okay. Hoke Williams' Timmy Higgins took first in the 400. Attaboy Tiggy.
Tiggy Himmons.
Attaboy Timmy. Sorry, T. I almost messed it up again. Now I'm flustered.
Timmy.
Yep.
Disrespect.
Timmy and Elijah Flores won the triple jump for Elma.
North Beach swept the boys and girls team titles in the Pacific League Championships on Friday in Raymond. Isabella Ferris won the 400 and 800 for the Lady Hyaks, while Malia Cox took the 200. On the boys' side, North Beach was led by Josh Bighead's long jump victory. Acosta's Idso twins continued their season of dominance.
Is it Idso? Have I been saying it wrong the whole time?
I think so.
Oh, no.
That's what my son told me, that it's Idso.
Well, they're studs.
Yeah. William picked up wins in the 100 and 200, while Matthew took first in the 400 and 800. All the runnings.
Yep.
The brothers also teamed up with Dylan Todd and Michael Reynolds to win the 4x4 relay. Certified bucket getter Trey Seidel snagged multiple wins for Raymond, notching victories in the high jump and the 300 hurdles.
Attaboy.
Raymond's Kyra Gardner did normal Kyra Gardner things and won all 4 of her events: the 100 hurdles, the high jump, the long jump, and the triple jump. All the jumps.
Also certified bucket getter.
Yes, absolutely. In baseball, despite closing the regular season with a losing record, Elma's baseball team has made an incredible postseason run all the way to the district title game. The Eagles took out Tenino on Tuesday. Take that, Tenino. 10-3 in a district semifinal game in Hoquiam at Olympic Stadium. Jared Bailey hit a 2-run dinger for Elma. Blake Core added a 2-run double. Andrew Sanders started on the mound for the Eagles, picking up the win by allowing 1 unearned run on 4 hits over 5 innings. Elma lost to La Center 3-0. La Center on Friday in a district title game at Castle Rock. Despite the loss, the Eagles will advance to their first 1A state regional game since 2006. Wow, that was back when I was playing on Saturday.
You're old. Yeah. Evergreen 1A League champion Montesano's season came to an end on Friday with a 2-1 extra innings district playoff loss to Kingsway Christian. Camden Taylor had a stellar performance on the mound for the Bulldogs, throwing 7 frames and allowing 1 unearned run on 3 hits while striking out 5. Jackson Booz recorded 2 hits, including a double, and drove in Montesano's only run.
In soccer, Montesano's boys team has advanced to the state tournament for the first time since 2010 with a 2-0, like how I threw in the nil, district playoff win over Kingsway Christian. Mateo Sanchez, the coach's son, and Levi Clements each scored for the Bulldogs, while Jaden McElravy saved all 7 of Kingsway's shots on goal. And I gotta say, Mateo scored on what is called an Olympico, which is a super dope play. It's when you kick a corner kick directly into the goal.
That sounds made up.
So you have to curve it because you're kicking
bend
the
it
corner.
Like Beckham?
A lot. Yes. Much bend.
Is that like not off of somebody?
No, like directly from the corner.
That's awesome.
Would you
Curving
say it's called
it
a
in
vertigo?
It's called an Olympico.
Olympico.
Yeah.
Okay. Sticking with soccer for just a moment, I don't have a lot of details on these, but I do know that Elma's boys soccer team in the district tournament opened with a 5-0 win over Winlock, and then had a 2-3 win over Kingsway Christian to advance to the district title game. Unfortunately, lost to Seton Catholic in the district title game 3-0. Both Montesano and Elma boys have advanced to the regional round of the state tournament. Montesano has a play-in game that will be played either on the 17th or the 18th against Kings. Elma is grandfathered into the next round, and
Grandfathered?
Grandmothered.
Aren't they just in the next
I
round?
don't remember how you say it when they're just in the next round. Like they don't have to play a play-in game.
I don't think it's grandfathered. That's like
they're grandmothered into the next
grandfathered
round.
into something is like the
They were
rules
already
have
there.
changed, but they were already.
Yeah, they're already there. They don't have to play the play-in. They'll play against Highland on May 20th. It looks like if Montesano wins 2 games, they could actually play Elma in the state tournament. That would be
That
cool.
would be awesome.
That'd be
That'd
dope.
be awesome. I bet Ryland wouldn't say grandfather.
Grandfather.
Because he'd be right.
Aberdeen
I'm
kept
saying a lot of words here. You expect me to just get all the words right? How important are words on a podcast?
staying in soccer. Aberdeen kept its season alive and will compete for a spot.
Compit? What's compit?
There you go. For a 2A state tournament after a 2-1 win over Rochester on Thursday at Stewart Field in Aberdeen. Bobcats midfielder Luke Nemi was fouled in a penalty kick area, giving Aberdeen the opportunity. Bobcats junior midfielder Edwin Quintana scored on that opportunity to give the Cats a 1-0 lead. Then in the second half, Quintana sent a corner kick toward the Rochester goal, and the ball was deflected off a Warriors player and into the back of the net to give the Bobcats a 2-0 lead in the 50th minute. Whew! That'll do it for our local sports roundup. That was a lot.
I will explain why that one race at the track meet was so exciting.
Okay.
It's kind
Was
of
that was that 4x4? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was grandfathered into the end of the track meet. So track meets are long,
Yes.
right? There's a lot of 3.5 hours, and apparently they were still doing discus like an hour past when everything else was done.
Oh my goodness.
So, but the 4x4 is the last race of the meet. And it was really cool because right off the bat, so my son Peyton is the first runner. He knows.
I thought you said no relation.
Oh,
I'm shocked. Shocked.
That was a lie.
Okay.
It was a lie that I had grandfathered in. So Peyton knew that the kid that he was lining up against from Eatonville was like really fast.
Okay.
And so his mindset even going into it was, I'm going to just try the best I can to stay as close to that guy as possible.
All right.
So after one lap, the Eatonville kid's in first, Peyton's in second, kind of right on his tail, and then Elma's right there, but not right there, but pretty close, like within striking distance. The second runners start to go. All of a sudden, Elma passes Eatonville.
Yes.
And Monty.
Oh.
And the second lap through, Monty's in second place. The third kid for Monty runs, and he passes the Elma kid. So then Monty's in first. There's all this passing going on.
Nice.
He passes the kid, so he's in first place. Then it comes around to the last runner, and Elma passes Monty. And then we're looking at it, I'm going, okay, well, that kid is actually not only has he passed the Monty runner, which was Jesse Anderson, not only has he passed him, he's like gaining distance against him. So they're on the opposite side. They're probably at about like the 200 meter mark of the lap. And I'm looking at it going, okay, he's got like 5 or 6 strides on him.
Yeah.
And I was told later that, no, that kid from Monty just has an incredible finishing kick. Okay. So we all knew it was fine. He turned on the jets at with 110 meters to go. He actually passed the Elma kid on the curve before they even got to the straight stretch, and then stayed about a stride ahead of him, just sprinting all the way down to the end. And that was like the one moment of the track meet that everybody in the stands was just going nuts. It was really awesome. Cool.
And Eatonville
fell off. They finished in 4th.
Good.
Yeah. So it was the end of a race where it was awesome. Between Monty and Elma, and there had been 3 times that they were passing each other. It was really cool.
That's awesome. That does sound like a sick race. I will watch random track videos on YouTube because they're super exciting, especially when it involves a relay with somebody having to come from behind from a huge deficit. Right. It reminds me of when I was really into Olympic swimming. And there was that event where Michael Phelps was trying to get all those medals during the Olympics, and he actually didn't do that well in his relay. And then some old dude made an insane comeback. Those situations are the best. Yeah. So when I see those stuff on track, I watch it all the time. It's awesome.
That's the lamer side of sports.
What track?
Watching random track videos in Olympic swimming. You just said out loud, I was really into Olympic swimming.
Dude, your son's doing track.
Yeah. I like it when I get
it's
to watch
season.
It's bulk season. I'm not saying track is bad or track is boring, but
you just said it's lame.
Sitting in the stands for 3.5 hours, there are moments when you experience doubt about the excitement level of track.
It's not really sustained, is what you're saying?
Would you say it's, 3.5 hours? That's longer than a baseball game.
I'm sorry.
So, and on that note,
would you say that track is overrated?
I think it's
as a sport.
I think it's appropriately rated.
Appropriately rated?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not the Mariano Rivera of sports.
No.
Okay.
Oh, you were going for a thing there.
Yeah.
I ruined it.
I still got it in there. It's not.
Yeah.
A Mariano. It's appropriately rated.
Well, we've got a couple things coming up in the mailbag. That'll wrap up our local sports coverage for the day. Looks like we're going to talk about the Kentucky Derby in the mailbag. And before we do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break.
At Ole Pen Real Estate, we have solidified our foundation on 4 core values. First, we continuously focus on growing our knowledge in the market and in our practices to bring the highest level of competency to our clients. Second, we provide a high level of integrity, compassion, and kindness in every aspect of our business. Third, we put the human element above business through humor, enthusiasm, and patience. And last but not least, we proactively respond to the needs of our clients. Our mission is to create a personal real estate experience, one person and one home at a time. With Ole Pen, it's personal.
Welcome back to the Scrimmage. Thank you for listening. I'm Justin Domashevitz. My co-host Daniel Hargrove is also here, and our producer Andrew Gross. I'm going to go back and watch the video of that particular sequence because I'm hoping that the camera picked up not only the face that Daniel made at me when I think what he thought was oh, people say baseball is boring. I'm going to get the shot in there. This sport's more boring than baseball. Then he made a face that was like a goofy smile that I think in the moment he realized, that was a weird thing to say. And then he did a limp stomp out of the room in his walking boot to go to the bathroom. And I'm very curious to see how much of it the camera picked up.
Great. After hearing it described that way, I'm not happy about what I just did. But
it's time for the mailbag.
Oh.
Is it?
Yeah. The mailbag.
Yes,
Send
the mailbag.
Us your stuff. Send us your stuff in a mailbag.
I see Kentucky Derby listed here.
Yeah.
What is it?
Did you hear anything about that?
I heard some people talking about it. I didn't watch the actual video. I heard
The
that
video was
a
pretty
super
impressive.
long shot horse passed a bunch of other horses and then tried to eat them after the race was over.
That I forgot about that. The eating them part was pretty cool too. But I usually don't care about horse racing. But not only was this a super long shot horse, this was the longest shot to win the race since like the early 1900s.
Rich Strike.
Second, it only got in on like a 30-second before it was like the cutoff and stuff.
So like someone else got
somebody else
disqualified.
got scratched, and it was like a last second, they're next up to run.
Yeah, here's another horse. Throw you in there. And then it freaking won.
And it didn't just win, but the overhead video
is insane.
It goes into the last stretch, like part of the pack. The guy doing the announcing doesn't say his name until he's won. Yeah. It was awesome.
That was a super good radio call, though.
Dude, it was insane.
It really was.
Yeah. But he doesn't, like, you're watching the video, and you're like, oh my gosh, this horse is way back in the pack. Because I didn't watch it live, so I didn't have any idea. But then I'm watching it knowing what's going to happen, and it has, like, the little, like, graphic with his name over it, and you're like, how is he? Wait, this is the final stretch. There's no way he can come out of that. And then all of a sudden he comes blasting through, and then he's literally coming up on the inside for like 5 seconds or 4 seconds, somewhere around there. And the guy broadcasting still isn't even mentioning. He's just like naming the other two horses, like, they're stride for stride. Oh my gosh, this person and this person stride for stride. And then as the Rich Strike is passing them, then he finally goes, Rich Strike wins! And you're like, where did that come from? It is the most bizarre, crazy, long shot Disney movie type thing. It's insane. It's amazing.
My wife is chiming in and saying that it is the longest shot since 1913.
Yes.
91-1 odds.
Yeah, and this was like 80-1 odds. And again, it was, they had a horse drop out that weekend, and they're like, we need a horse. You're randomly selected to run in the Kentucky Derby.
Have you heard any explanation for why it was trying to bite the other horses after the race was over?
Because some horses are angry.
Oh.
Race horses are wild and
I think Andrew's wife might need to chime in on that. Like, why was this horse trying to bite? Probably because it wasn't.
She says that the announcers didn't know who it was. That's why it took them so long to come up with his name. So it wasn't. That does make sense. Last second thing. Wait, what colors are those?
Yeah, that makes sense. But also, we need to know, why would horses try and bite everybody else? I like it. I like that it's like the Richard Sherman of horses. It's like, not only did I just win, I'm going to bite everybody who's trying.
Come at me with a second-rate jockey. That's what you're going to get.
I'm going to bite you.
I've never witnessed Richard Sherman bite someone.
Verbally. He verbally bit.
Verbal bites.
Yeah.
That's true. Good point. Horses are the worst, though.
Ooh.
I hate horses.
I think
they're big and stinky and mean, and they have the worst poops. Oh, they're gross.
The worst? Do they have the worst poops?
Well, they just poop everywhere.
I feel like they don't have the worst poops, which is good because
there's a lot of
poop
it
everywhere.
Yeah.
Cows' poops are way worse, in my opinion.
I used to have a job that my part of my work day. This is when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Part of my work day was doing some work in a fenced-in field that there was a couple of horses in. And first of all, horses are gigantic and scary and like super strong and intimidating.
My wife says pig poops are the worst.
I wouldn't know.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. That checks out.
But the horses were like, they knew that I was kind of scared of them, and so they would torment me. Like they would pretend like they were going to run at me, and then they'd swerve off at the last minute. They're jerks.
They have really big personalities.
And they
apparently.
legitimately just crapped everywhere.
Yeah.
So for me to be able to try to do any of the work that I was doing in this field was almost impossible.
What type of work were you trying to do?
It was junk work. Like part of it was like there was a lot, and he wanted to build a new house on it, so it was like gathering up all the brush that had been cleared and putting it in piles and burning it, and there was some other random maintenance stuff. I built a fence for him.
Nice.
Didn't know what I was doing, so I'm pretty sure it was a terrible fence, but I did build one.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Yes.
Andrew, have you ridden a horse?
Yeah, a few times.
You've been kicked by a horse.
Not a lot as an adult, mostly as a kid.
Your mom still tells the story. She was telling it yesterday, actually, of when you got kicked by a horse and you literally went airborne, like because you were little and you were flying through the air.
Yeah, it was a pretty close call. I think I got hit on the shoulder.
Is there video of it?
No.
I think we should try to recreate it.
Yeah. I think I'm the only one here who hasn't ridden a horse.
No, you've never ridden a horse?
No.
I've only ridden a horse, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times.
So as the youngest, you know how your parents like kind of check things off the check mark box of like, oh, the kids have now done this.
Yeah.
They forget about stuff by the time they get to the youngest. So
did your older siblings ride a horse?
Oh yeah.
So your mom has these things where she's like, wait, you never did this?
Yes, often.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yep. And she'll be like, oh yeah, well, remember when we did this? And I'm like, no. It happens all the time. It also happened. My wife was talking to her mom the other day, and she was like, oh yeah, this happened all the time. And Courtney was like, I think you're thinking of the boys, because I never did that. Anyway.
I'm so
Kentucky
hungry
Derby.
I could ride a horse. That's how the saying goes, right? I'm so
Yes,
hungry I could
that's
ride a
right.
horse.
Mhm.
Horses are the worst.
My brother's eaten horse. He was down in Cuba.
That actually sounds... I think that could be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why it would be any different from any other
In France,
big
they have
animal.
horse butchers. I remember learning that when I was taking French in high school.
That they have horse butchers?
Yeah, there's like actual horse butcher shops.
Interesting.
They eat horse a lot.
They must have horse butchers in Cuba, too, because that's where Jimmy had horse.
Did you hear the other thing from the Kentucky Derby that was interesting that has nothing to do with horse racing?
You deleted something from
I
here.
did no such thing.
Yes, you did.
The other thing from the Kentucky Derby that was interesting was actually something that Mike Leach said. Did you see that?
I did not, no.
Mike Leach said that the fact that Rich Strike won the Kentucky Derby is just more evidence of why we need an expanded college football playoff. Because
yes.
the winners, the favorites usually win,
Yes.
and one of the top few almost always wins. But every once in a while, you have to leave room for lightning in a bottle.
Absolutely. Way to go, Mike Leach.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
He would be able to pull that in from there.
Yes, I agree.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, I think that's going to do it for our
Nope,
show.
it's not going to do it. Nope. First of all, something to make fun of me is Francis said Tiggy. Probably time to back off the pain meds because of my Achilles injury. I'm not taking any pain meds. Thankfully, it's not that
Advil?
painful.
Nothing?
It's not painful.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's really weird, but no, it's not painful at this
Probably
point.
because of the meds.
But yeah, Francis giving me crap for calling his son Tiggy instead
Tiggy
of Timmy.
Emmons.
My wife says that horses aren't the worst. Justin is the worst. So
Can I be honest though?
He's
The troll in me was like, if I say this, Hannah's not going to like it.
Yeah.
And I was strong on hating horses because I knew she would take offense to that.
Also,
You're welcome,
right.
Hannah.
Justin keeps deleting what I keep putting on the show sheet.
I didn't delete anything.
Which is that I keep typing TikTok Dama because to remind me that you still haven't done the TikTok dances.
my mom is horrified that Daniel has not ever ridden a horse.
Your mom's chatting now?
Yeah. Well, it says Mike and Angela.
Tell her-
I'm assuming it was my mom.
Tell her to take it up with Daniel's parents.
She says
Yeah.
that my grandpa Elliot, which was her dad, would never have let that happen.
Ignore the
he
fact-
would have been
Would he
here.
have let me marry his granddaughter had he still...
Not before you'd ridden a horse, I think.
Ignore the fact that he's been an adult for 15 years with full control of his own life, and he could have ridden a horse anytime he wanted. Ignore that. It's his parents' fault.
I have been told by multiple horse people that they're going to get me on a horse, and it hasn't happened yet.
I don't know. Like, I'm sure that there's an element of riding a horse if you're good at it that's like freeing and fun. I was like, it's kind of boring. It's a little underwhelming, and I know it's the kind of thing I'm sure you could really enjoy if you like invest yourself in it.
Yeah,
but
if
like,
I'm good enough to go fast.
just
You also
going.
not like being outside though.
Well, the horse was yucky.
Yeah, the horse.
There it is.
Yeah.
So here's two things. I want to go fast, but also if the horse is going to take me on a hike where I don't have to do the hiking, I'm down for that. I like seeing beautiful things in nature without actually having to work for it. So I could be in on that. Justin, why haven't you done any TikTok dances yet? I am going to start adding here's the fine print that you did not read in our verbal agreement. I am going to start getting a steak dinner every week that you do not create a TikTok dance. What the crap?
I'm on the injured list from TikTok right now.
You're on the injured
I've been
list.
having some issues with my trick hip, and I'm concerned that dancing might make it a full-blown injury. I have a trick hip. It's not my fault.
That sounds awful.
I'm in a walking boot with an Achilles tear.
Well, how
and
many TikTok dances have you done?
I could do
Prove
them.
it. A real friend would do it for me.
I have made Instagram reels.
Instagram?
Instagram. It's like Instagram, but off-brand.
TikTok? That's TikTok.
What are you saying here? What are you driving at?
I'm driving at the fact that you are vastly failing at your end of the bargain, sir, and you reneged on the buyout last time we did a show to say that no, you were going to do the TikTok dances, so I wasn't going to get what I wanted, and now you haven't done either, sir. You have done neither.
It does seem like he should have to get you steak and do the TikTok dances at this point.
Why?
Because it's been so long.
It's been a long
I
time.
told you it's my hip. I kill to be at 100% right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would help then if you could do both the
Francis
dinner and
says-
the dance.
Francis says that you
Since
must
the
be
dance
talking.
isn't going to be very nice.
Yeah. Francis says that you must be talking to Dr. McGillicuddy again.
Dr. McGillicuddy, he knows what's up. That's kind of an inside joke.
I was gonna say, by the way, both of you guys reacted to it.
No,
I
it's
figured.
So the show. This is where Francis and I have really bonded. There's a daily podcast that we both listen to. So when there's like repeated inside jokes on that daily podcast, we tend to,
Gotcha.
that's one of them. Dr. McGillicuddy.
I'm assuming that's not the Cascade Sports Ryland show. Or
No.
whatever.
Don't
What?
listen to Cascadia Preps.
Cascadia.
Do not look up Cascadia Preps podcast on your podcast.
What even is
app.
Cascadia?
Cascadia Preps?
Yeah, but what's Cascadia? Like, where's that name come from? Cascadia.
I don't
Like,
know.
that's not a real thing.
I don't know.
Ryland.
Well, I think that's going to do it for our show today.
Is it?
I don't know.
Is that coming with a promise that you're actually gonna start on your bet payment here, Chief?
It's just I really didn't think I was going to lose.
I know. You have said that multiple times.
And then when I came in strong with my bargaining tactic, where I was like, I'm going to take everything away from you.
Yep.
That way we can negotiate and meet somewhere in the middle. Because you went in strong with I got to make you do everything.
Yep.
And then we both just went, well, fine. And we didn't meet in the middle.
Exactly.
So now you get no steak, and now you're trying to figure out a way to get steak again, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get out of our bet.
Well, you have to at least make a step of good faith and at least make one TikTok dance because
Okay.
you're supposed to make one every stinking week.
Well, it's only been 1 week.
It's since March Madness ended.
It's been like
It's
few
been
more
months.
than 1 week.
A week plus.
It's May.
May Madness.
All right, that's going to do it for our show today. Stay tuned to our TikTok page because maybe even if Justin doesn't do a dance, he'll post some content there trying to do some stuff with our content. I've started making Instagram reels for myself for no good reason because I've been lying on a couch for days
Why don't you
on
do
crutches.
Instagram reels for the scrimmage?
I should.
Yeah. What is an Instagram reel?
It's basically like a TikTok.
It's a TikTok.
It's basically a TikTok, but
But
on
like a
Instagram.
name brand.
Does
TikTok?
it save?
Yeah, it saves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
is this just Instagram trying to stay in the game?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically what they do, but I don't have TikTok because I'm not hip with the kids.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, so for my
Sus.
Sussy, bro.
yeah, very. For my co-host Justin, grandfathered in Damashevitz,
And my
no relation.
co-host and my co-host Daniel, never ridden a horse and it's his parents' fault. Hargrove.
And our trusty producer Andrew, kicked by a horse. Gross.
As I look back on it now that all the other nicknames were horse related, we should have put Justin horses are yucky on the Shevitz.
That would have also worked. You've been listening to the Scrimmage.
But that grandfathered in thing, that was bad.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.